Hey 8th graders! Today we are going to take it another step. We've been practicing so much with our slope-intercept form. We are going to practice another type of linear equation. It's just written differently and it's called point-slope form. Okay, so I did not appreciate point-slope form until I became a teacher. I think I just stuck with my slope-intercept form and used that one all the time, where now I see the value of point-slope form. So I'm going to show you and I'm going to use this today. So it says, let's see if we can solve a problem below graphically. And it says, write the slope-intercept form equation of the line whose slope is -2 and contains the point -7, 8. So what we've done is we've went to the point -7, +8. Since we know the slope, we can put more points on our graph by going down to right one, down to right one, down to right one. And with those points on there, I can graph my line. Okay, so now with those points and with that line, now I can look at my graph and I can write my equation. I know the slope, and guess what? I know where it crosses my y-axis. So my slope is, or my equation is y equals, my slope is -2, and then my intercept is down here at -7. So I can just write -7, and that's your equation. So this wasn't too difficult, but what if we had the point 72, -31? We probably need to use a different method because we cannot put that point on our little graph. So I'm going to show you two different ways to do this. One using our new point slope form, and the other one kind of going back to that slope intercept form. So this is point slope form, and x1 and y1 just represent the different points, okay, and then our m still stands for slope, okay. So what we're going to do is just kind of fill this out. This is the x coordinate, this is the y coordinate, and this is still your slope. So this is your x, this is your y, and this is your slope. The other x and y, they just stay there every single time. In the slope-intercept formula, it just is, this is your slope, and this b is your y-intercept. Okay, so when you are given a point and the slope, it's really easy to use the point slope formula to solve for the equation of your line. I shouldn't say really easy, but it's not too bad. So that, again, remember how we did the x1, y1? We are going to do that, and we're going to plug it into this formula up here. So our formula reads y minus my y1 is 8 equals my slope is -2, parentheses x minus -7. One little thing is, anytime that we have a minus, this is going to be a plus in our equation, and anytime we have a positive, it's going to be a minus. So they are kind of backwards. That's one little hiccup. So I'm just going to rewrite this. Negative minus a negative is a plus. Okay, so now we have this equation. This is in point slope form, but they want it in slope intercept form. So now what we're going to do is we are going to get y by itself, and you guys have practiced doing this, so it shouldn't be too bad. We're going to distribute the x, or the -2 to the x and the 7, so y minus 8 equals -2x minus 14. Then we're going to add the 8 to the other side, and we get y equals -2x minus 6, and that is the equation of the line. Okay, so I like this method because you just put these values in and then you solve for y. That's all you have to do. This strategy, some people like it because you guys are really familiar with this slope-intercept form, and so by you're just using that same formula again. So with this strategy, you plug in the ordered pair, and the slope, you solve for b, and then go back and write the equation. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our slope-intercept form. You can plug in what we know. So for example, we know the slope of -2, and we know our x and our y. So our x was 8, and our y was 8, our x was -7. We do not know the slope or the y-intercept yet, and so this is where we're going to solve this. So 8 equals positive 14 plus b. So you have to subtract 14 from both sides to get b alone. This gives you -6 equals b. So now you have b. What you have to then do is use your equation y equals mx plus b. Your slope is going to go in for m, and your 6 is going to go in for b. So then my equation is going to be y equals -2x minus 6. So same problem done two different ways, we get the same answer. So what I'm trying to show you, and I know sometimes it can be confusing, but you can choose. You can use whatever other method you like, whichever one makes sense for you. So we did the same problem twice. On the back side, what we are going to do is I am going to do 2 problems using point slope form, and I am going to do 2 problems using slope-intercept form. Okay? So the first 2 I'm going to use point slope, and maybe I'll just write these equations at the top of our paper here. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And then my slope-intercept is y equals mx plus b. So they want the final answer in slope-intercept form. So we are going to go to this form in the end. So we have a slope of 3, and it goes through the point 24, x, y. So I have y minus 4 equals 3 times x minus 2. Then I'm going to distribute. Y minus 4 equals 3x and minus 6, and then move 4 to the other side. Y equals 3x minus 2. Minus 2. Is the slope 3? Yep. Does it go through 2, 4? Well, let's check. So if I start at -2, up 3, 1, 2, 3 over 1, 1, 2, 3 over 1. It goes through that point. So we're doing these on some smaller ones, and we can check our work. Yay, we did it right. So is the slope 3? Yep. So we did this one correct. Okay. So now I'm going to do, I hope it doesn't confuse you, I'm going to switch methods. I'm going to use the slope-intercept form for this one. So my equation is y equals mx plus b. The slope is 1/2. My y is 3. My x is -4. So 3 equals 1/2 of 4 is 2, but it's -2. And then I'm going to add the 2 to the other side. So I get 5 equals b. Okay, so if I have 5 equals b, I'm going to take my equation, y equals, my slope is 1/2, x, my y, or my intercept is b. So there's my equation. So let's check. Oh, negative 1/2, sorry. Ooh, I goofed. Okay, back up. You guys are probably watching it and you see me make my mistake. Okay, the slope is negative 1/2. So negative 1/2, this would give me a positive 2. If I subtract 2 from both sides, oh, where's my little whiteout friend here? Let me fix this. See, guys, we all make mistakes. Even when we're distance learning. Okay. So, this would be -2, -2, and then I would have 1 equals b. So that means this would be +1 for my equation. And this is a negative 1/2. So is the slope negative 1/2? Yes. Does it go through -4/3? Well, let's check. So I'm going to have a positive 1 for my intercept, and then I go down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. If I graph this, we can see that it goes through those points. So yeah, my equation is negative 1/2 x plus 1. Okay, so that's using the slope-intercept method. Sorry, next time I won't goof it up, so hopefully I won't confuse you. Okay, next one. I'm going to use point-slope form. x1, y1. I'm going to have y minus a -2 equals 2/3 x minus a -3. Now, once you guys get good at this, you know that if it's subtraction, that those are just going to go to addition right away. Add, 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 add. So, for simplicity, I'm just going to rewrite it for us. Okay. Now, you have to distribute the 2/3. 2/3 times x is just 2/3 x. 2/3 times 3. If you think about this, maybe I'll just jot this down. 2/3 times 3 over 1. The 3's cancel and you just get a 2. Okay. Then you minus 2 from both sides. Y equals 2/3 x plus 0. Do you have to have that 0 there? Nope, but it's kind of helpful to graph. So is the slope 2/3? It is. Let's start at 0, 0. And if I go up 2 over 3, it puts me right there. Looks like it's going to be perfectly in line for us. Oops. So our graph equation is 2/3 x. And does it go through -3, -2? It does. Okay. So let's give this slope-intercept form one more shot here. Y equals mx plus b. So remember, this is your x and your y, and this is your slope. So it's your m. So I'm going to put -1 in for my m. My x is 3. My y is 1. 1 equals -1 times 3 is -3. And then I'm going to add that 3 to the other side. I get 4 equals b. Now, the slope is -3, the b is 4, so our equation is y equals, oh, the slope is -1. Having a rough day, guys. There's our equation. So our equation is -1x plus 4. Do you have to have the -1 there? No. Let's graph it and check. +4 is right here. down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, you can see that it's going to run into our point. Is the slope -1? Did it go through that point? Yes, we're good. Okay. Last little bit here. It says, let's use the graph to provided to see if we can figure out some weird equations. Okay. So some weird equations, if we have the slope of 0 and it goes through 2, 1. So if it goes through 2, 1, that would be right here, 2, 1. And if it has a slope of 0, what does that mean? That means it's going to be a flat line. So if it's a straight horizontal line, what's the slope? Well, it's y equals, because it crosses the y-axis, and where does it cross? It crosses at +1, so it's just y equals 1. Okay, so now it says undefined slope, and it goes through -3, -3, 3, so that's up and down. And so the equation of an up and down, it's always x equals. And where does it cross the x-axis? It crosses at -3. Okay. Our next one, we have a slope of 0. So it's that flat line, and it's going to go through -2, -3. So -2, -3 is right here, and it's a slope of 0, so it's flat like this. Well, where does it cross? It crosses at -3, so it's y equals -3. And the last one is the undefined slope. So that one goes straight up and down at 1, -2. Okay, and where does it cross? It crosses the x-axis at 1, so it's x equals 1. Okay, so now I want you guys to make a little connection here. Some of you probably already have. If it's a horizontal line, you know it's going to cross the y-axis. So you just have to pay attention to the y coordinate. If it's a straight up and down line, you know it's going to cross the x-axis. So you just pay attention to that one, and then you guys can make that connection. You don't even have to graph it in order to make the connection. So if we go through here, slope of 0, that means it's flat. So it's going to cross the y-axis, x, y. So it's going to be y equals 18. Undefined slope, this means it goes up and down. So it's going to cross the x-axis. So it's going to be x equals -99. Undefined, that means it goes up and down. So up and down, it crosses the x-axis. So it's x equals 47. The next one, it's a slope of 0, so it's flat. It crosses the y-axis. So it's going to be y equals 88. Now, I am someone that loves to put the x and y there. It just helps me figure out which one is which and keep it in my head. So that's all for your notes. So you guys are going to write linear equations given a point and a slope. So one thing that I want you guys to make sure of is that you get it in slope-intercept form. Okay? You can use either method that I've given you, either using the point slope form or slope-intercept form. It doesn't matter to me. And then you guys should just be able to do, you just have one page of homework. Yeah, not bad for today. Okay, hope you guys had a great weekend. At least the weather got a little bit nicer out, and I am missing you guys like crazy. So we will talk to you Wednesday.